When I saw the proof of our wedding invitation, I laughed at first. Not the kind of laugh that comes from something funny, more like the laugh that slips out when your brain refuses to accept what your eyes are showing you. There it was, printed in gold foil. Join us in celebrating the marriage of Emily Carter and Ryan Blake. Ryan Blake. My name is Daniel Hale. For a full 10 seconds I just stared at it, thinking maybe I was hallucinating, or maybe our printer messed something up. But then when I looked at Emily sitting across from me on the couch, her hand frozen halfway to her coffee mug, I realized she wasn't surprised. She was terrified. "Emily," I said quietly, "why does this say Ryan?" She blinked fast. "Oh my God, Dan, I didn't notice that. It must have been a typo. You know, I copied the format from an old template, probably from a friend's invitation or something." Typo. I wanted to believe her. I really did. We were getting married in 2 months, for God's sake. We'd spent weekends picking flowers, colors, playlists. She cried in my arms over how perfect everything was going to be. But that name, that one word, sat between us like a knife left on the table. Ryan Blake wasn't a stranger. He was her ex. The one she told me didn't mean anything anymore. That night I didn't sleep. I just lay there beside her, listening to her breathe, my mind replaying every time she'd said his name in passing. How her tone had shifted when she mentioned how complicated their breakup was. How she'd once slipped and said Ryan's apartment instead of ours when we were talking about moving in together. I'd laughed it off then. I didn't laugh now. The next morning while she was showering, I opened her laptop. I know how that sounds, but when you're engaged to someone who accidentally prints her ex's name on your wedding invitations, morality takes a back seat to survival. The email thread with the printer was right there. And in her message, no template, no formatting, no old file. She'd written it herself. "Hi, can you confirm this design for Emily Carter and Ryan Blake? The date and venue are correct. No accident. No typo. Just a truth I wasn't supposed to find." When she came out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel and humming, I felt sick watching her. How easily she could hum while I was unraveling inside. I didn't confront her right away. I wanted to understand why. So I started watching quietly. How often she texted. How she smiled down at her phone. How she took calls outside. 3 days later I found the answer. Her phone lit up on the counter while she was cooking dinner. I don't know what made me look, but when I saw the name, Ryan Redhart, something in me snapped. They weren't talking like old friends. They were talking like lovers who never stopped being lovers. She told him she missed him, that she dreamed about him, that she didn't know if she was marrying the right man. And him? He said, "You know you'll always be mine, Em." I didn't throw the phone. I didn't scream. I just quietly set it down and walked out of the kitchen. She followed me confused. "What's wrong?" I turned around slowly and asked, "Do you want to marry me? Or do you just want to hurt him?" Her face went pale. She knew exactly what I meant. The next few days were a blur of lies and apologies. She cried, begged, said it was a mistake, that she didn't mean anything by it. But how do you accidentally keep texting your ex and write his name on your wedding invitation? I told her I needed space. She moved in with a friend for a few days. What she didn't know was that I'd already started planning something else, a different kind of ceremony. 2 weeks later I told her I forgave her, that I wanted to move forward, that we should still have the engagement dinner her parents had planned. She lit up instantly, hopeful, relieved, stupidly unaware. The dinner was at her parents' house, a small gathering of family and close friends. I showed up early with a smile, carrying a stack of envelopes. When everyone sat down, I made a small speech. "Before we start, I wanted to share something special," I said, my voice calm, steady. "Emily and I had a little mix-up with our wedding invitations, but I thought it might be nice for everyone to see them before they're reprinted." Her smile froze. I handed them out, each perfectly printed card with Ryan Blake's name gleaming in gold. Her mother frowned, confused. Her father looked from the card to me. "Who's Ryan Blake?" he asked. Emily's face went white. "It was a mistake," she started, but I cut her off. "Yeah, that's what she said too," I replied softly. "A typo. Except she emailed it that way. And she's been texting him for weeks, saying she doesn't know if she's marrying the right man." The room went silent except for the sound of her quiet sobs. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I just looked at her one last time and said, "You could have told me the truth, Emily." I would have respected that more than a lie wrapped in a wedding dress. Then I left. That was 6 months ago. I never saw her again after that night except once on social media. She posted a photo from a coffee shop, sitting across from a man whose face was half hidden. But I knew. Ryan Blake. The caption said, "Some mistakes are meant to be." Maybe she was right. Because losing her wasn't a tragedy, it was a release. I spent months blaming myself, wondering what I'd done wrong, what I'd missed. But love built on lies isn't love. It's theater. And I was done playing a role in someone else's unfinished story. I still have one of the invitations tucked away in a drawer. Sometimes when I take it out, I stare at that name Ryan Blake and feel a strange kind of gratitude. Because that one mistake, that one word, showed me everything I needed to know before it was too late.